And via telephone, City Councilman Jason Baker joins us this morning. Jason, good morning to you. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful to have you with us, sir. So first question to you is, I know you've always wanted to get something in Ward 5 that could benefit the voters of Ward 5, the residents of Ward 5. And the county's talking about a sports complex. Jefferson County's talking about a sports complex. Do you see any benefits coming to Ward 5 if something like that occurs here locally, Jason?
Well, we've talked about a few times while I've been on about expansion of the 2000 Rec Center, and hopefully that with the new push of, and I know they're talking about a different location for the sport complex, but hopefully we still have expansion. I know there was talks of a gym and maybe outside basketball courts and some stuff like that. I think that would be probably the big thing that would be helpful for my ward. On that, expanding into the what we already currently possess. And we actually probably 5 years ago purchased adjacent to this property a small two lots that actually go out onto Athletic Street that could suffice as additional park or possibly a new entrance into the 2000 Rec Center, so that a redesign of how our entrance is so that we can maximize the space that we have.
The Rec Center is a big draw in Ward 5, and clearly it's used by a number of people. Do you have a count? Do we know how many people pass through the Rec Center on an annual basis, Jason?
I do not know the number. I can tell you, as you well know, I'm up at the Rec Center a decent amount. My son's very active in athletics, and we use the facility outside with North Middle's track. It works really well with the school system, and then also having the rec center and all of its space. There's pretty good laps, and it's getting busier and busier on the outside. On an average evening, of course, with the short time that we have now with daylight, there's probably at any given evening, there's probably 50 or 100 people that are using the outside of the facility. And then when they have different gymnastics or basketball, of course, the basketball is hugely popular. And finally, it seems that some new leadership there has gotten that to be a much safer event, and some very strict rules for parents and fans of that seem to have really made a difference there. So those people should be applauded for that.
Are you specifically referring to Joe Burton, the head of Parks and Rec, Jason?
Yes.
Kudos to Joe on that one. By the way, a technical note here. Comcast, we received a note this morning, is doing work in the area. And when I say the area, I mean specifically to where we are located on Eagle School Road. As a result of that, it has on numerous occasions between 6 and 8 o'clock this morning knocked our internet out completely. When the internet goes out, TV 10's gone, our telephones are gone, and internet within the building is gone. So if and when that does happen in the next 2 hours, if something were like that were to occur, our apologies. It's beyond our control right now. It's all on the work that Comcast is doing. Bill Stubblefield.
Yeah. Good morning, Jason. Going back to sports complex, I assume with the momentum that it has, it will continue to evolve. I assume also that you will talk with the county at various levels, seeing how best to utilize the resources that we have to benefit not only Rec 2000 but also the sports complex.
Yeah, I mean, anything that benefits the city, obviously anything that's inside of the corporate limits of the city of Martinsburg, you can appreciate this, Mr. Stubblefield. Obviously, I represent the citizens of the city of Martinsburg, so I'm a special interest. So obviously, I want all the money to come back into the city. Not to, but obviously, I want what's best for Berkeley County, and we have elected officials that represent that. But in no way do I oppose, a sport complex going outside of the city or anything like that. But for me, I'm for sure, and as you all have got to know me, I'm very dedicated to my ward and to the city of Martinsburg.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jay. Yeah, I appreciate that very much. I respect that about you. My question was slightly different. As the concept of Sports Center evolves, I would think there'd be opportunities for real cooperation between the Rec Center 2000 and the sports complex. And will there be discussion to maximize these cooperations so that both parties will benefit?
I apologize for misunderstanding your question.
Yeah.
It's not your fault, Jason. I misunderstood one of Bill's questions earlier this morning prior to going on the air as well, and he just ripped me completely to shreds.
It's not a question, it's a story, Rob. With Jason, it's a question.
It's a questionable story.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I do think so, because they're going to have to interwork with each other. All these, no matter if it's the 2000 Rec Center. It's Rec Center in Inwood. If it's a new sport complex, if it's our trails, I've talked a few times with the rec, different people on the rec board, and stuff about the Poorhouse Farm and expansion of trails, so that we can expand. A 5K, 10K, half marathon type trails. Those things are getting super popular. There's more and more people that are doing that, and they draw people from great distances. Out. There's people that'll come to that kind of stuff. For big stuff. So I think there's always room for us to interwork with the county and the rec board and to expand our offerings throughout every resident of Berkeley County.
Maria Lawrenson.
Good morning, Jason. Talk a little bit about the relationship. I mean, clearly the city, the county, but the Parks and Rec, you gave a shout out to Joe Burton. Talk a little bit about the relationship in terms of funding. We go around and around about Lambert Pool and what needs to be done there. Who's responsible for what?
So currently the city funds through, if it's coming through our general fund, we've done things like with Lambert Pool, we've pulled extra money. We just got a pretty significant estimate to get War Memorial up, make sure it's up and running for next year. And so those things mostly come from our general fund. They get the hotel motel. I think it was probably maybe 10 years ago we forgave the rest of the balance on the 2000 Rec Center, and they get their complete half of the hotel motel. The city's funding helps take care of the parks in the city, and then the county subsidizes with different stuff just similar to we do and then with their hotel motel.
What was the estimate you got on War Memorial Pool, Jason?
It was I think it was a little over $1 million.
$1
million, and that's to stop the water leak?
Yeah, stop the water leak and some upgrades, and it was everything that we could possibly do there.
All right. Maria, did you have a follow-up as well?
Well, I was just on that, in that vein, speaking of War Memorial, while it's not in your district, Jason, story came out a day or so ago about LEDA funding coming into War Memorial Park and providing for, is it an area, a play area for folks with handicaps? Is that what it is? Are you familiar with that at all?
I just I had got an email. I'm not 100% familiar, but is what I believe also.
Okay.
At this moment, to be honest, and we've done that before, and we have done that before with the basketball courts that some state funding through couple different representatives put some money together, and we put a new basketball court on, or refurbished a basketball court at War Memorial.
And that park is very close to where I live, and I walk by and through very often, and boy, it is used all hours of the daylight for sure.
Absolutely. And like I said, obviously I'm Ward 5, and I'm always going to be a little partial to my ward, but I'm also a Martinsburg resident, so War Memorial is a great park. It definitely is our most traditional park, and has been the most used over the years as far as an outside park. And Park and Rec have invested heavily in that. And in my tenure on council, I can't think of one time that I have voted no, or even the rec has been turned down on any type of funding that they have asked for. Now, we might have shrunk it a little bit, to work it into our ability to fund it, but straight out no, I don't believe has ever happened in my tenure. And of course, we have a council meeting tomorrow, and we're getting ready to sign a grant for the trail that'll take from Frog Hollow and take us over towards another great sports complex, which the baseball fields through the feds, which is going to be almost $20 million investment in that trail.
Jason, taking Maria's question with a slightly different spin, or a big different spin, and that's political. With redistricting, you went from a city that is represented by one delegate to now a city represented by 3, perhaps 4 delegates. I don't exactly know. Have you seen the benefit of that multi-delegate representation?
Mr. Stubblefield, you definitely turned this conversation a little bit on me, but
that's a big change.
Big change, yeah.
The other stuff that I was getting softballs, and now you threw a little bit of heat at me.
That makes me feel good, Jason.
So, you know me well enough to know that I'll give you my honest opinion.
Exactly right. I respect that. Yeah.
And my honest opinion is I do not like the pinwheel that the city of Martinsburg is under. I do not like that little pieces are different and have diluted the voting power of the city of Martinsburg. It's not an individual one that I think is necessarily has done anything against the city, but in general, I think that we're such a small portion of those voting districts for those delegates that I like that when we had one delegate that was a representative for us, that was our delegate. And when it was Jason Barrett, I can tell you that firsthand that he was very accommodating to take my calls. He was very accommodating to listen, and not just me, but city manager. He came to council meetings at times. He had meetings and stuff. And I know that the other delegates have done that with us, and I appreciate that. And in no way am I trying to throw them under the bus, but I do not like the pinwheel whatsoever.
In other words, you feel like you've lost some leverage, have you?
I think all cities in West Virginia have lost. I don't think it's a secret that state Republicans have their focus has not always been on the cities in West Virginia, and I think it was a political maneuver to reduce the chances of having a Democrat in the House of Representatives, and that was the reason it was done.
Oh, you meant House of Delegates there, by the way, Jason.
The House of Delegates, yeah. Sorry. I've been paying attention to the shutdown so much,
yes.
I apologize.
It's hard not to.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything to focus, but and I'm not, and they have worked hard, when Mr. Hardy was a delegate, he called me on a regular basis and had conversation with me. But you just don't have the same influence. And I think you can understand that, Mr. Stubblefield, 100% on that. You just don't, as a voting bloc, those delegates are not going to be elected or not elected based simply on the percentage of what they have in the city of Martinsburg.
Jason, I always respect your honesty and the fact you're frank and you do not shy away from an answer. And once again, you've done just that. So I do respect your integrity and your principles.
From that to impact fees, quickly, those kicked in November the 1st. And we do know there was some friction when the city was included. But now that this is underway, Jason, any feedback so far?
I think it's early to know too much. I know that the people that are paying attention, I've had a few school teachers that have reached out to me that are inside schools, inside the city. I know there was some changing to where they're going to put the money, and there was some rapid redesign when the city was pushed in and into the impact fees. And I know Parks and Recs have also talked about some projects inside the city now that the city will also be paying impact fees. And I think that I definitely think it's I don't know that it's 100% uniformed. I still personally have some concerns of it maybe hindering economic growth inside the city. Last time I was on, I talked about that. I think that, I and 6 other councilmen and a mayor were elected to do what we think is best for the city, and to one of the biggest differences between the city and the county is that we already have a lot of infrastructure in. We have our roads, we have water, we have sewer. Not that they don't need upgrading, but for as far as the city, it was a pretty much a kick in the teeth with us, with power. Of the fees, with for someone in the city to get a building permit for a new house, you're probably $15,000-$16,000 now, with impact fees, water and sewer, capacity improvement fees, tap fees, our community development fees. That is a significant increase and will increase the price of housing, which affordability is becoming a major issue in our region. And I think that this will be a hill that we're going to have to get over for affordability reasons.
1 minute left. Quick thought, Maria?
Well, I was just going to ask, so you think then the money that comes through impact fees versus what you're going to lose in terms of people building houses is not equal.
20-second answer, Jason. Go.
Sorry.
Short term, long term, and I think that one of the biggest issues it's facing residents in Berkeley County is affordability, and putting another fee in is not going to help the affordability of our county, and definitely not in our city. And I would rather if it had been a decision between the 7 councilmen and ladies to be able to do the economic impact of what, if we thought it was good or if we don't think it's good, and allow us to direct
Jason,
our city the way that we would like our city to be directed.
On that note, I have to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks,
No problem.
Jason.
You have a
Thank you,
great day.
Jason.
More to come.